Hello everybody. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Matt Norris. I met John and Shani the same day as her passing in 2002. I walked into the bird store, I asked for a job. John said yes, Shani said no. John asked me about birds and we got to talking, and Shani agreed to hire me on, and that's when my road and adventures with the Friedman family started. A lot of great memories, a lot of love, a lot of compassion towards me from her over the years. I pulled and I tugged and I pushed her buttons left and right, and got to the point where she'd ask me if I had any questions when she walked into the store. I'd say no. 5 minutes later, I'm walking to the front of the store. She would not even look up from the desk and just point back to the back of the store. I said, oh, okay. She knows me too well. Just the one time that hit home the most was 2008, right before I stopped working for them for a couple of years. She asked me what I was doing after work, and I said, well, I have to leave early, but my car's in the shop and I need to go to court. I had gotten in some trouble and she agreed to take me down there. I come back and she's like, why are you so sad? It's a beautiful day. I took you down here, you're not in any more trouble. What's wrong? I just looked at her and I said, I just wish things were different. And she goes, well, that's a silly thing to ask for. Well, what do you mean? All this stuff happened and my life can be so much better. She goes, your life could be so much better, it could be so much worse. You've came a long way since when we met you. You've came through different trials and tribulations, and we never left your side. Your family never left your side. And if you asked for anything different, where would you be and who would you be? You wouldn't be the same person that's sitting in my vehicle with me right now. You wouldn't be the same person that has a job with us, that we welcomed into our family. And that just made me think of how much love, compassion, and care that one person can have, and just the wonderful outlook that she has on everybody. I mean, I've never seen her turn anybody away from anything for any reason. And for that, Shani, I say thank you for accepting me into your family. I love you guys.
I've only known Shani for, I spent about 6 days with her over the last few months, working together with dance and music. But I'm very touched by her sense of responsibility and her dedication to life. This group that meets in this room. And I would have done whatever she asked. Because she was so sincere and full of love. I see that after hearing all of this tonight. And I saw a bit of it, that she loved, and it really showed. And the connection that I made with her, I will never remember the last time I saw her, 3 or 4 months ago we left, but we looked into each other's eyes and there was a depth that we both experienced. And she had a fire inside of her, and a wish to really live. And a real affinity for her. It's a wonderful, wonderful being.
I'm Barry, trained as a physician, and I've known John and Shane for about 14 years through association with the Wildwood. My most memorable interaction with Shani was that the two of us became co-conspirators. I got a call one day from Shani was in the intensive care unit. He just had a motorcycle accident. So I buzzed over, and there he was, on a respirator, multiple rib fractures. And at that point, Shani and I formed an alliance, and our number one goal was to get John off that respirator, because I knew that he had to stay on for more than a certain number of days. They would do a tracheostomy and all sorts of other bad things. And so for the next 10 days, Shani and I, every day, would go over and corner the intensive care unit and plot how to outwit the doctors and nurses and make sure that he got the right care and stuff. And we used to do, he couldn't talk because of that. He couldn't move his arm because this hand was broken and this one had the IVs in. So we used to do pantomimes to figure out, okay, what's the problem today? And we'd talk about all these different things. And thank goodness, eventually we got him off the respirator. But he was still on some pretty heavy pain medication, and it became clear to me that our job wasn't over when I came in one day and he explained in some detail how he had had a significant conversation last night with the president about all these issues. Not much different than he is now, but my crowning memory was going into the intensive care unit, and he wasn't there, and he said he had just checked out, and I went buzzing down to the front just in time to see him getting into his car, and he and Shani were ready to drive home. And for me, that was just a nutshell of how Shani cared for you her entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was one of those early people in Disney. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
1975, I think. And Bisbee was like a performance in progress at that time. Lots of young people there, mostly artists, writers. We owned the town, really. And so I knew one person there from New York, and he owned the Philadelphia Hotel. That was probably the place where everyone came to, anyway, that we knew. John lived right up from the hotel. And so I knew John right and Shani right from the beginning. Justin came along right about then. And I remember I used to babysit for Justin. And he was like really young when I started. He has a scar under his eye, and I was babysitting him. He fell down and hit his head on a rock.
Oh.
So that's how long I've known these guys. And anyway, so it went on and on and on, and finally Shani got some music from Gurdjieff to Hartman Music. And she and Carmen started playing that. And then Shani happened to meet someone who was had a group, Gurdjieff group in Tucson. Get my places mixed up a little. Anyway, so we all became involved in that. I started coming to the Gurdjieff group meetings, doing the movements, Shani playing that music. Incredible music. Shani did it so well. Everyone in New York and out in California knew what Shani was, what she could do with that music. And you heard a little bit of it tonight. We heard it for 12 years. Anyway, that's my story with Shani. It just went on and on and on. Shani was one of the few people I'd never had any conflict with at all. I don't know why, but I had plenty of conflicts with a lot of people, but not Shani. Yeah, we never had any sort of harsh words. I don't know, maybe once, a long time ago when we were in a restaurant in Zero Vista. Shani got up and walked at the table because I said something. But that never happened again. And, well, it just went on, and I'll just end by saying that, this is sort of strange, but animals really love Shani. And if animals really love you, then there's something there coming out that's very special, and you can't manufacture it at all. So it was there, and so that was Shani. Shani and her dog. She had a dog named, and don't tell me, John. It was, Yoko? Yeah, Yoko. Yoko, I don't know how Shani got Yoko, but the thing about that dog is that I don't know how she did it or why it did it for Shani, but she would just point to the floor and the dog would roll over. And she'd just lift her finger up and the dog would stand up on his hind legs. She also had a parrot. I think it was a parrot. It was sort of like a parrot. Really mean bird. This bird, boy, it bit my ear once. She said, well, you can let it on your shoulder and it probably won't bother you if it bit my ear. And this bird was just a terror with everybody except Shani. I don't think I remember this bird's name. Don't you tell me, John. Soho? Yeah, Soho. That's where I used to live in New York, Soho. Anyway, this bird had quite a vocabulary, and that was Shani's doing. So this bird must have realized something about Shani, but I didn't. Anyway, so that was my reminiscence about Shani. She was quite an amazing person, and I know we people in the Gurdjieff groups will probably never find someone who can play like she can. We'll try though. So I'm glad to see all of you here. And what you hear about Shani is really the truth.
Peter, could you say something?
Boy, everybody's covered so many of the fabulous points of Shani, but there were just a couple of mentions of what keeps coming back to me is her incredible laugh, her incredible raucous laugh that still just echoes in my mind. Joyous belly laugh.
Shani, I met Shani a lot of years ago with John. And Shani would just blow your mind. Shani would just blow your mind. Shani would just kind of open you up in places. And it was so beautiful. And make you think. I was a real youngling when I went to visit, and I was surrounded with genius and light and brilliance, and it really helped me develop, and it was beautiful. And Shani and I spent a lot of time eating mangoes in Naco and talking a lot about life, and we continued to do that over time. And about life and family and community and philosophy, because we were both very deeply trying to understand and what is the meaning of everything and anything, and it was always really wonderful, and I've always felt a kinship with Janie and John, of course, and I am so honored that this love is just permeated an incredible amount of people and energy and space and time, and I just feel like she's one with the universe, and it's so beautiful, and I think we're all feeling the waves because she's here right now. And this oneness is wonderful. And I love you, John, and I love you, Shane.